I'm Jessica Condit, senior reporter for Engadget.com, and I'm here at GDC with Sony and Adam Boyes, who is VP of Developer and Publisher Relations at PlayStation. So thank you so much for talking with us today. Sure. We just saw PlayStation VR.
Sure did.
And we have the release date, we have the price. So I want to talk a little bit about how Sony got into VR.
Yep.
Now there's a huge push in the gaming industry for virtual reality. Why is now the time for this to take off?
Well, I think it's a combination of all the different great sort of components we've been able to source. We're at a point now where the PS4 is sort of pushing that level of graphical fidelity that we've been waiting for so many years. And then we also have this ability to build content with tools and processes from Unity and Unreal that makes it really easy to deploy on different variety of devices. And then I think the control schemes have been there. I mean, we had Move in PS3 era, but bringing that back to really add sort of that 3D depth of, hey, I can see my hands or my arms in that VR experience is absolutely the place. So, and we also felt like we've built this ecosystem of how people get content, how they buy hardware, that we feel like this is the best place and best time to launch VR.
Okay, very cool. And I mean, Sony's making a huge push into VR, right? This is a huge deal that you have hardware for the PS4. Yep. So, strange question.
Okay.
What happens if it tanks? What happens if no one wants VR?
So usually that comes with the caveat of because I've talked to some people that don't enjoy it, and I haven't found anyone yet that doesn't like it, right? Everyone's finding experiences that really speak to them, and that's what I love about VR. I brought my wife to E3 2 years ago, and she tried this luge demo where you sort of lay down and you luge down this whole thing. She tried a couple of other of our demos, and she came off and she was like, I want to be a game developer. I'm like, you've never liked video games ever. But she's like, I want to build museum experience. I want to take people on tours. I want to take them to the Great Wall of China. And she started Facebooking to all of her friends about VR, and they're like, you don't do video games. And so it's that sort of religious experience that we find talking to people. They get so excited, they light up. As soon as developers try it for the first time, they're like, what can I make in VR? And that sort of was reflected today with our announcement with partnership with EA and LucasArts around Star Wars Battlefront, right? Even DICE got so excited, they're like, we got to do something here. So it's very exciting.
And that's actually another thing I wanted to ask. Sure. That's a licensed property coming to VR. I mean, that's a huge one too, Star Wars. Yep. So is it harder to get bigger publishers or IP holders on board with VR and really taking that leap? Is that a hard thing to do?
Well, I think in general, bigger businesses always usually are a bit slower to make decisions. So big publishers that have big investment and big development teams, they usually sort of have to build their strategy, and they have a 2, 3, 4, 5 year sort of road that they're building on. Whereas a lot of the small developers that are making this amazing content, they're able to, in a small team of 3, 4, 5 people, crank out something that's really great, really high visual fidelity. Highwire Games, they're a bunch of guys, ex-Bungie, ex-Sucker Punch guys, making this game called Golem. And, they just peeled out, and there's a small team of them, and they're able to make really great content. And then you have people like the EVE Online crew, right? CCP that made EVE Valkyrie here, that they've known about VR, and they've been believers in it for years and years and years. So they spent a lot of time to bring that visual fidelity to a very high level. So I think in general, the breadth of content is really amazing, and I think you'll see very quickly that more and more partners are going to get on board.
Okay, very cool. And then we saw today the package bundle that everything that comes with the thing, but I didn't see the PlayStation Eye in there.
Right.
So is that going to be sold separately? What is that?
Yeah, currently the plan is we're going to sell that separately, and then the Move controllers as well will be sold separately. And then obviously we're always exploring what are the bundle opportunities, what are people looking for, what are they excited about, and then we're always going to be looking into, hey, what is it, what's possible to sort of put together, potentially sell in the future. And
then to round everything out,
sure.
I am super into independent games.
Okay.
I love this influx of developers coming in. So how has that and the ability for small studios to exist and create games now for big platforms, how has that changed VR in particular? Because now we have 50 games launching by the end of the year, and that seems pretty incredible. So how has that changed everything?
I mean, the great thing is I think with PS4, we really learned some great lessons in PS3. We weren't as developer friendly, and so we changed a ton of our policies to make it easier. And I feel like we built a great base towards PSVR. With PS4, we gave out a lot of dev kits to developers. And then when PSVR started getting, internally talked about, we went to a bunch of sort of key people and said, hey, we want to disclose you on this new secret thing. We know you already have a PS4. We're able to drop in a PSVR dev kit. They already have that PS4 sort of dev environment. So adding in PSVR felt really easy for them, especially when Unity and Unreal were there really quickly. So it's been a great sort of celebration. Our team is amazing. They're always out there hustling. Nick Sutner, Brian Silva, Gio Corsi, and John Drake. They've just been covering the planet to try to find the best and brightest. And we've got great, I mentioned sort of Highwire Games. We've got the guys from Uber Entertainment make Wayward Sky, Super Hypercube. I mean, there's so many. Out of the 20 games, I'd say probably 50 of them are made by amazing independent studios. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.